If you like my videos and you want such more videos, then do like, share and consider subscribing. For the notification, do not forget to tap the notification icon. Thank you.
Good morning everyone. I'm here again with a new chapter, and this chapter is supposed to be the last chapter of biology in class 8. When in the last chapter of biology, that was reproduction in animals, we studied about how animals like human beings were able to reproduce through sexual mode of reproduction. In that chapter, we studied about the process, means how the sexual reproduction process takes place and how fertilization and other process leading to development of child take place. But is it an organism able to reproduce the birth itself? Or if not, then what are the changes that is brought into the body of an animal, especially I'm talking about human being here, that makes him reproductive? As you know that reproduction is a very important process, means a process which helps to continue the life. We know that how reproduction is important, means if reproduction would not have been there, then the life would not have been existed. So to make sure the life continues on, reproduction process is done. So in this chapter we are going to study about what are those changes that is brought in human body that helps in the process of reproduction. So in this chapter we are going to study about that what are the changes that is brought in human body that helps the human body for the process of reproduction. So the today's chapter is reaching the age of adolescence. Reaching the age of adolescence. So just I mentioned that a human being is not able to reproduce from the birth. So when it starts, when the body prepares itself for the process of reproduction during the age of adolescence. So first let us know what is adolescence. So if you look into the life of a human being when it is growing up from a child to an adult, there are a lot of stages that it come across. First, when the child is born, then it is an infant. And during this process, it becomes a child when it passes the age of 3 to 4 years. And then it becomes an adolescent. And lastly, it becomes an adult. So, during the age of infanthood, that is 0 to around 2 years, then from 2 years to almost 12 to 13 years, a human being is a child. From 2 to 11, 12 or 13 years, well, this may differ. So after infant, there comes the age of childhood. Means when a child has grown up from become an infant or a toddler and he is able to learn lot many things, but still he has not grown up properly. So that stage is childhood, and normally it is from 2 to 10 or 11 years of age. Then comes the phase of adolescence. Now what is adolescence? As you can see, I have written down adolescent between child and adult. So this is a phase of growing up of a child to the adult. Means how a child is able to become matured physically, socially, mentally, and this phase is called as adolescence. So that is around 12 or 13 years to 19 years. Then comes the phase of adult. So this phase of being adolescent is called as adolescence. Means this is a phase when a child is developing into an adult. So the body is making you prepare to being an adult. So what is the difference between child and adult? The child is not matured enough to take many decisions which should be good or bad for him. Whereas an adult is quite mature to handle the situation, to take decision, to go out and study. So how it will happen? How a person may become adult? So that is seen in the case of the phase of adolescence. That is between around 12 to 13 years to 19 years. A child goes through lot of changes that helps it to become matured enough to be an adult. So this phase is called as adolescence. So we can say about adolescence, this is a phase between childhood and being adult. So this is a very important phase. I think every one of you who are there in the class 8 are now in adolescence age. Means you have already entered the age of adolescence. You are being adolescent. You have grown up from being a child, but you're still not grown up to being an adult. So you must have seen a lot of things into you, how you have been changing as a person, physically, mentally, socially. So you can understand what is adolescence being. Well, adolescence is a very interesting phase. You see lots of changes. Sometimes you are able to cope up with it. Sometimes you are not able to cope up with it. Sometimes you are being very happy. Sometimes you are being very erratic. Sometimes you feel very confident, and sometimes you feel still very childish. So that is adolescence. A very interesting phase, but a lot of things can be learned during this phase. So what we are going to do, we are going to study about all this in this chapter, where we are going to study how a body prepare itself for this age of adolescence, how we are developing, how we are growing up for being an adolescent, so that we are able to prepare ourselves as an adult. So first of all, to study about adolescence, let's understand what is puberty. Now puberty, what is puberty? Let's understand that. So as I just said, that adolescence is a phase between
A child and adult. You are almost in between.
no, you are not being a child, you are not being an adult. You may have seen number of times your mother must be saying you that you have grown up. Why don't you do this? You are not a child now. But sometimes she may also have said that you're still not a adult. So behave like a child. So these things are very common during this adolescence phase. Let's learn about it. What happens into your body? How we can say that we become quite reproductively matured in the age of adolescence? Well, there are secretion of hormones, and this secretion of hormones led to the production of gametes, that is male gamete and female gamete in the respective bodies. So let's understand that. But before that,
Let's understand puberty. What is puberty? Well, this is the onset of
changes inside
the body during adolescence phase.
means you may have seen into your body that your body must be going through lots of changes. There are a lot of changes that must be happening into your shape, into your voice, into your height. But when it started, what was the time when it all started? All those changes have started. Well, that phase is called puberty, when there are lots of physical changes that is happening into your body, and internally there are production of hormones. As I just said, these hormones are letting your body to produce the gametes. If you are a boy, then male gamete, and if you are a girl, then female gamete. So when this change starts with the puberty. The age of puberty may differ person to person. Generally, when we say about the teenage or adolescence, we talk about the age that is 11, 12 or maybe 13. Therefore, even the period of 13 to 19 years is regarded as a teen age. Therefore, this phase is called as adolescence. But with time, we have seen many children attain puberty even at the age of 10 or 11 or 12, even much younger than that. Like in many countries, even much younger kids attain puberty. Well, what puberty depends upon? That puberty depends upon the environment a child is living, the kind of exposure the society is having on him, the kind of food or the kind of eating habits. Before learning about what are the factors that affect puberty, I would like you to find about the age of puberty in at least 5 places. Like just find about the age of puberty in different countries. You will understand the difference between the age of puberty. Now, what are the factors that lead to affect the puberty? So before we move to understand the different kind of changes that is brought in a female body and a male body during the phase of adolescence, let's understand what are those hormones that playing their important part in this phase. So in human body, human being is a male and female. Now, in male, as you have already studied in your previous chapter, that there are glands which release hormones. So, the glands which is called as testes, there is a pair of testes which liberates or secretes testosterone, where testosterone plays a very important role during the phase of adolescence so that a male is reproductively active. And similar goes with the female, where there is a pair of ovary, again glands. These liberates two different type of hormones, that is estrogen and progesterone. Well, both play a very different role. We'll understand about that. We will discuss that what are the different kind of role that is played by it. But mainly during the phase of adolescence, when a child acquires puberty, it has become matured enough to produce this sex hormones, which is testosterone and estrogen, which brings a lot of changes in the body which help the child to become an adult. Means the phase of adolescence is actually driven by these hormones, and these hormones are controlled by our pituitary gland. We'll discuss about the different kinds of glands and the hormones that is secreted by that also. So that we are going to discuss in our next